How you doing today, guys? My name is Cash Cow. It's my first video in celebration of Juneteenth. I want to bring to you all the world comic version of it. So all of these that's in this box is my favorite, my top Juneteenth celebration comics. And let's just go. Let's have fun. Let's see, maybe you guys have some of these. I'm pretty sure you do. So, we're going to start off. This is the J. Scott Campbell black and white edition. I got this, you see the Euro mark, I got this from my travels to Paris. I went to a comic book store called Album. Anybody that's ever traveled and went to that comic book store, you know they're pretty awesome. They have a very good collection and stock and all that. So it was an experience for me that I was like, when I'm in Paris, like, let me buy some comic books. Let's see, I heard, some good stuff about it. So I went to check it out, found some good stuff there, some decent stuff. So that's the first appearance of Michonne. Shown in the cover. I like this cover, by the way. It's very, it stands out to me. That's one. Next one. We have the J. Scott Campbell Virgin variant. Has all the colors, but none of the writing. I love Virgin variants, by the way. It actually just highlights the characters, shows all of their features and all of that stuff. This is another one I bought from Album. So you see the Euro stamps that's still on there. I'm like, I'm not removing that. That's a time keep. It'll remind you every time you look at it, hey, you got that in Paris. Next one, here we go. This is Iron Man 219, which is the first appearance of Ghost. As you all know, comic book collectors and fans, that Ghost appeared in Ant-Man 2. Okay character, I love Ant-Man. I love his movies. It's like, she end up, you don't know what really she turns in. I guess she like had a misguided goal of hers or something, but I did fall in love with the movie, and eventually it grew on me, and I ended up liking the character. So I felt like, why not get her first appearance? Next, we have Batman 523, which is the first cameo appearance of Killer Croc. This is actually one of my favorite villains from the DC era. I really like Killer Croc. I've always liked Killer Croc. I can remember as a kid falling in love with him, watching the Batman animated series, and it's like, Batman could never just get rid of this guy. I fell in love with him, and I've been in love with him ever since. So, next, we have the Detective Comics 525, which is the first full appearance of Killer Croc. Also not a bad appearance, and it actually highlights him on there. This is actually not the most sought after cover. The most sought after cover will be Batman, was it 534, if I'm not mistaken? If I'm not mistaken, that's the most highly sought after cover. People tend to go after that cover more than anything. And it's kind of confusing because he has 2 cameo appearances and he has a full appearance. So, like I said, he sticks around. You can't get rid of him, but he, interesting thing, he started out as a wrestler and stuff didn't go right and he turned to crime to survive, and next thing you know, Batman's on his heels trying to shut him down, So. Next, got Firestorm #1. This is volume 2, not their first Firestorm. This is the first appearance of Justin Jefferson. I mean, people have seen the show like DC Legends, and with Gray be like Jefferson. I actually fell in love with this show. I love that show. That's probably my favorite CW show because of those two. Like, they're always just going at it, but it's like it's what makes them. They really do DC Legends pretty well. CW they do pretty good on the shows. There's certain movies, here and there. I'm like, yeah. But that's the first appearance of Justin Jefferson. That is Firestorm #1, Volume 2. Not the first one, Volume 2, #1. Next, got Blade Hunter #1. Blade by far probably is my favorite character. I've loved Blade since I've seen him as a kid. And he came out the first movies with Wesley Snipes. Like, I've always liked Blade. I love his story. I love where it came from, and who knows what it's gonna be now. And I'm just glad that Marvel's giving it a reboot. Why not put him back in the MCU? Like, everything else is going pretty well. It's selling right. The movies are doing right. The comics are hot. Why not? Like, Blade is one of the most iconic characters. I mean, if you can go back to Spider-Man animated series when they had their parts where Spider-Man and Blade are trying to hunt down Morbius, but they're hunting him down for different reasons, and it just takes you back. Like, it's nostalgia for me when it's comics, and that's why I'm a very big comic book fan. Like, I enjoy all this stuff. I just have fun with it, collect what I want to collect. Like, you should collect what you want to collect, and you fall in love with the characters. You immerse yourself in their story, and you want to continue to see them on screen. You want to continue to read good books from them. And I feel like Marvel does a pretty good job so far with majority of their movies. Is like, it's like they stick to the script. They go by the comics, and that's what people want to see. People don't understand. We like seeing that. We love seeing that. So this is Blade Vampire Hunter #1. One of my favorite books. But I still got more to show you. So it just, as it keeps going, it gets deep. Next, we got Black Panther, Black and White, 50. The first appearance of Kevin Cole. And now I know they're kind of, nobody knows what direction they're going to go with the unfortunate passing of Chadwick Boseman. And he starts out where he's a detective, and then he becomes a Black Panther, but then later he becomes the White Tiger. But this is actually one of the hot spec books, because it's a lot of speculation. They don't know what direction they're going to go with Black Panther. So just look out for this. Like, it's a good read. You guys should give it a shot. And I enjoyed it, so maybe you will too. Next, we got Uncanny X-Men 283. The first full appearance edition. This is actually one of my favorite X-Men characters. Like, I always grew up, my favorite X-Men characters, #1 is Juggernaut. #2 is Bishop. Like, they go hand in hand. It's like, it's hard for me to choose at times. I grew up watching X-Men's 90s animated series, and I fell in love with it and been in love with it ever since. Like, they really did a good job. I wouldn't even be mad if they rebooted that. That's how good it was to me. I still go back and watch the Disney Plus animated series then, and just go back to remembering when I was a kid, and just been like, oh, man, it just, God. So this is his first full appearance, and he's actually his comic has started to get hot lately because they know with the direction they're going that eventually you already have seen Cable, which is Fox version of Marvel. It's only a matter of time before Marvel does their version, and they go, because you have to put in Apocalypse, you have to go through the future and all of that. Characters like Bishop will get their time. I believe it. Next, we got Uncanny X-Men 282. This is the first cameo appearance. Again, it's Bishop. Now, I don't know which comic is more highly sought after. I probably, in my mind, if I was an investor or a collector, I would actually probably say his cameo is more sought after than his full appearance for some reason. Comics are weird like that. Sometimes it's they want the cameo more than the full appearance. So who knows how that goes. But both pictures have him on it. So it's not like you're losing anything. You still see Bishop. You still see him, so moving on. We have Black Lightning #1. Actually, the CW show is not bad at all. Like I said, they do a pretty good thing with tying in all of them and having where you have Green Arrow, you have Flash, you have Supergirl, DC Legends. Like I said, they tie in their stories so well. That's what I'm saying. I'm like, who is the screenwriters that do the shows compared to the movies? Because they get it right on the shows. Like the shows are like really, really good. So Black Lightning is another one I fell in love with, and I've watched it all the way. I hate that I think the season 4 may be its final, and I'm like, it was, the story's deep and it keeps going. Like I want to see more. I want to see what happens with him and Tobias. Well, like how does he finally solve this problem? Because this guy's not going anywhere. So that's another one. Black Lightning is cool. I like him a lot. Next, got Static Shock #1. Still in the poly bag, so I'm not taking out the poly bag. That's what actually makes it more valuable to me, is to just keep it in the poly bag. But it is another copy of it, and I have another copy. I've read it. I remember watching Static Shock as a kid with the cartoons, and I was like, oh man, Virgil's cool. Like I like this character. I can dig this. I can get into it with this guy. He's solid. He's good. They're talking about, there's rumors that they're gonna do a movie or maybe reboot another show, and I'm all for it. I have no problem with it. Static Shock, I feel like, went away too soon before we could really get into his story with the cartoon. Like, if you woke up on Saturday mornings or whatever, you was watching, Static Shock. It's just the way it goes. Like I said, CW's always they did well with DC. So whoever the screenwriters, they need to just, man. Next, we got Astonishing Tales 25, first appearance of Deathlock. This character reminds me of Bishop in a way because he's a time traveler. He's on his own path. He's trying to stay out the way. He has goals. Only difference that separates him from Bishop, the fact that he's half android, whereas Bishop is just a mutant that's from the future. So I actually like Deathlock. Like he's not bad, and I feel like with them expanding Phase 4 or Phase 5 into the the space realm that eventually Deathlock, you may see an appearance of him. You may see him in the Captain Marvel movie or the Eternals or whatever else they got coming on down the line. Like, I feel like this comic is gonna get its due. It's actually very undervalued, in my opinion. Like, Deathlock is, he's out there to me. He's pretty cool. I like him. He's solid. Next, got Jungle Action #5, which is the first solo story of Black Panther. I don't need to say how iconic Black Panther is. Like, it's crazy that it finally took the movie to give him his just due. Black Panther's always been an iconic figure to me. Like, he is Black Panther. Like, forget the movies and all. He's always been an iconic figure. And it's like, I'm glad to see that he did get his just due. I just hate the fact that Chadwick is no longer here. That was his role. He is Black Panther to me. I don't know how they're gonna top it or what direction they're gonna go in, but to me, he's that guy. So this is his first solo series. This is when he breaks apart from all the other stuff they had him doing. Actually, one of my favorite books as well. Like that. Next, got Black Panther #1. Jack Kirby is something with Jack Kirby. He loves to do this red or orange covering. I like it. It's like his signature. So, most of his comics that tend to be in those covers or that color tend to be pretty good. Like, he's solid when it comes to that. So this comic is actually seeing a value and uptick as well, because if you can't get your hands on Fantastic Four 52 or 53, people tend to go after this, which is his first solo. Like, it starts off that. So it's kind of hard to judge it, because you'll have Jungle Action, which is his first solo series. Then you have Black Panther #1, which starts off another series of his. Like, stuff it's hard to judge and juggle sometimes. It gets iconic. It's iconic in its way. Like, both of these comic book covers are iconic. That's nothing to be taken away about that. So, I mean, I have a lot of Black Panther in my collection. I have a few shirts around here. I have some socks around here. Pictures around here. Like, Black Panther's nice. He's nice. And they did justice with this movie. And I really hope that they can continue with doing that. Like, I feel like it was right on time. Like, I remember taking my grandma to go see it, and I was just like, this is one of the best Marvel or comic book movies I've ever seen. I bought it on DVD. I went to the movies a few times to watch it. Like, it was good. It was really, really good. Or great. To me, it was great. Next, got Spawn #1. This is a newsstand variant. The newsstand variant tends to be more valuable because of 90 Comics. If they had newsstand variants, that meant that the comic book store ordered them and they were trying to sell them. And if they weren't able to sell them, they would send them back to the manufacturers and they would destroy them. Print runs were so high back in the 90s. Of course, any comic book fan really knows that. But to me, Spawn, I fell in love with Spawn watching the animated series that will come on HBO, like late at night and all that. It was very graphic, but it was good. So it's like, it details a man that made a deal with the devil and it didn't go right. Like, it's pretty rough. I mean, but I fell in love with this story. I like Al Simmons, and I feel like it's only a matter of time that he gets his reboot or his movie, and he's gonna get his just deserve. And then they keep it going because it's like they only did a few seasons, like maybe 3 seasons or so. And I'm not mistaken because I have the animated series on DVD. And it's like after that, it's just you didn't see it anymore. You're like, wait a minute, like people stayed up late to watch this stuff. You fell in love with the characters. You enjoyed all that stuff. Like I don't get why they start stuff and then it's going. Or maybe it's a budget thing or whatever. But like we can't beat quality. Like Spawn animated series is one of the best animated series we have ever seen. To me, in my heart. So that's Spawn 1, newsstand, right? You gotta pay attention to that barcode down there. That's what separates it. Next, moving on. You have Strange Tales number 169. First appearance of Brother Voodoo. It's speculation that he will be in the next Doctor Strange movie, which I'm interested to see how they're gonna put him in that. I'm not gonna lie to you. I think they can. With Marvel's track record, I can see them doing a pretty good job with it. So we'll see how that goes. I read the book. It's not a bad book, but it's pretty. It's okay. You know, it's okay. It has some good strong points in it. We'll see where he comes in to play and how he helps Doctor Strange, or if Doctor Strange helps him. So, Strange Tales number 169. That Brother Voodoo. But it's not a bad, bad picture. It's not. It is not. It's pretty good. Next, got Jungle Action number 6. This is one of my favorite villains. First appearance of Eric Killmonger. If you watch the movie, it's like, oh man, that was Michael B. Jordan's part. Like, he played that to a T. That was where it was at with him. You wanted to see more of him. You didn't want to see him die off. Because you're like, no, don't. Yeah, I could make a series out of this. And just them two fighting. Like, it just, both of them were like Black Panthers, but of two different visions. So you like, okay, you can see where he coming from, and it meshed pretty well. Like, they did their thing. It was solid. It was pretty good. Like, it was good. Like, Michael B. Jordan did his thing. He did his thing on that. So that's one of my favorite things. And you know how, like, it's early Jungle Action, so they started off with Eric Killmonger, which is why it was a good thing that they started off the first Black Panther with him being the first villain. So only time it's been speculation that he may get bought back, because he, in the comic books, he does get resurrected. So we'll see how that goes. Stay tuned. But this issue, ever since he appeared in that movie and had an iconic role, it's not gonna go back down to $10 a copy or nothing like that. It has some staying power. Michael B. Jordan was very iconic with that. Just look at that cover, like that. Just Black Panther fighting off a tiger or a cheetah and him at the same time. Like, Jesus, his suit is ripped. Like, what is going on? Like, that's Jungle Action, right? Next, one of my favorite Netflix shows. Luke Cage, Hero for Hire number 1. Luke Cage was good. I like Luke Cage. I like Shades. Diamondback was a little crazy, but I liked him too. Cottonmouth is actually one of my favorite villains on that show. Like, I feel like they really put together the time with doing that. That's why I was so sad to see when the Netflix shows went away, because I'm like, I actually like that. And Daredevil was iconic. Jessica Jones was good to me. Iron Fist, even though a lot of y'all may hate it, I didn't mind it. It was okay. I feel like if you gave it time to grow on you and they continued to do season after season, it would be good. Punisher would just, whew, like, whew, he coming. Yeah. He has to be Punisher. John Bernthal has to be Punisher. It's nobody else. I'm sorry. Just, hey, that's him. That's his role. So maybe they bring him back out. He can be in the Mighty Avengers, or they maybe revamp another series and start over. But I like this. I fell in love with this series. It was very, very well put together and done. His issues actually stayed at a valuable rate as well. Like it hasn't went down, and I don't see it going down like for any time soon. And I'm pretty sure with the success of the first Disney Plus launch shows, they're gonna continue to bring out more. They have the power now to just expand their universe and do whatever they want. So it's gonna be characters you ain't never heard of or never read and seen, and they're gonna be like, oh, let's introduce him on this show and give him this and that, and let's see where it goes. There's another iconic. Look at that. Look at that. Disco and dancing. They try to put him in that in the show, and you like, at that point you was like, yeah, y'all don't need that. Like, we get what you're trying to do because the iconic cover. But it's like, yeah, that was like some season 2 stuff. So they tried. Let's put it that way. Next, we got Aquaman 35. Now, Aquaman, the DC movie, was actually one of their best projects for me. I like Aquaman, I like Shazam, I like Wonder Woman. Haven't seen the second one. Mixed reviews with people on that. I'm going to watch it before I give my opinion on that. This is Black Manta, which is one of the most iconic villains of Aquaman. You can't do Aquaman without Ocean Master or Black Manta. Those are the two main thorns in his side that just continue to give him problems. No matter what happens, no matter what he do, no matter if the Justice League with him, they see him, it's, hey, we coming at you, it's going down. I actually like this cover. I like that a lot. Like that. If I'm not mistaken, that's actually him fighting off Black Manta and Ocean Master. Like I said, that's his two most iconic villains. But he's always gonna have a problem with them. I feel like in Aquaman 2 is gonna be pretty good. I feel like they're gonna expand it more, and then he's gonna be back in this, because it ends with him as the cameo at the end that he's coming back. So this is pretty, like, you can still get it for under 200, but I'm just trying to understand, like, why? Like, he's coming back. They're gonna do a movie where he's gonna be the main villain. Like, Aquaman 2 will be him. I don't know where they go after that, but it's gonna be him. Like, yeah. You know how it goes. Next, we got Shazam number 28. First appearance of Black Adam. Now, we all know The Rock is going to play Dwayne. I mean, The Rock is... Dwayne. The Rock, Dwayne Johnson, whoever. Sorry. Is going to play Black Adam. We'll see how they do that. Like I said, I like Shazam. I didn't have a problem with Shazam at all. Actually, it was not a bad read. Better than I thought it would. Like, I don't know how they're going to introduce him, because he's actually he's like an anti-hero at times. He can be a villain, but he can also be an anti-hero. But we know he has a history with that guy right there that he's punching in the air, Shazam. So I don't know if they're gonna introduce him first as a villain and then switch him over to an anti-hero. We'll see how that goes when it comes to that. I think they can do it because I mean the first movie was pretty decent. It wasn't bad at all, and it made you want to see more of them. So I'm interested to see how they do that. Like, do they enter him in as villain or anti-hero? You know, so we'll see. Next, we got Green Lantern, Green Arrow, number 87. First appearance of John Stewart. Now, we've heard speculation that it's going to be a show on HBO Max or there's going to be a Green Lanterns Corp. And I'm really hyped for this. I've been wanting to see him on screen and how they portray him. To me, he's the most iconic Green Lantern, you know. So we'll see how they do that. It's just like with DC's track record, certain things you're kind of like, yeah. We'll see where y'all guys get to that. We'll see. Like it's like certain things they'll put, and you're like, oh man, that makes sense. That's cool. That's good. And next thing you know, they're like, and you're like, what are they doing? Like they just, Lord, it gets frustrating because it's like you want DC to make just as good or not better good movies as Marvel. Because with them making good movies, that forces Marvel to continue to step their game up to make good movies as well. It's in my opinion. Like, if they know that, hey, DC's coming, they making good quality movies, they ain't gonna just put out no crap either. They gonna have to answer the bell and step up to the tone. And for me, John Stewart is a story I like. I am excited, and I can't wait to see that. Like, look at that. He beating up on one of the Green Lanterns now. Look at him all knocked out. Ugh, you know. I like it. Next, got Malibu Sun, number 13. Now, with Spawn, it's kind of weird because you have so many brief cameo appearances of him. Like, it's certain things they'll put an insert or an ad. So you got like Rust number 1, you got Malibu Sun. Shoot, if I'm not mistaken, you got quite a few of them. So it's like it's hard to gauge what's his first appearance. Because, you know, you have some people that if it's a cameo, it's not their first appearance. If it's the first full appearance, it's their appearance and all that stuff. But this is actually one of the most highly sought after books of him, which I don't understand because if you look at the cover, he's on it. Like, he's on it. Then he has an ad in there as well. So wouldn't this technically be one of his first appearances? Like, comic book community tends to go off of, oh, the cover has him on it and he's in the book. Like, that should be one of his first appearances. Sorry about the glare. That's the light, you know. But that is, I actually like that. That's pretty good. Todd McFarlane is nice, man. He's nice. Next, got Tomb of Dracula number 10. I don't need to tell y'all about none of this. Like, you know who the first appearance is. I just talked about it earlier. Like, this is my favorite character, Blade. It is Blade. You can't go wrong with Blade. Like, you can't. You just can't go wrong with Blade. Like, I even actually, and don't be mad at me. I actually end up liking the. They did like was it on Spike TV? They did like a short series of it. I bought that on DVD, and and watched it as well when it first came out, and I was like, why'd they stop that? I was like, I was getting into it. Like, man, Sticky Fingers he was pretty good as a Blade to me. You know, a little, every now and then a little unorthodox or, talking a little crazy. But to me, it was good. I wanted to see how they finished the story, and that's another thing where they started and just stopped. And I'm like, man, that was getting good to me. Like, that was really good. But it's just like, with Blade, you can't go wrong with Blade to me. If you follow the script with Blade, you can't go wrong. This is a very hot book. Like, this ain't going down in value anytime soon. It's only gonna get hotter. Especially with them doing the reboot and the person they have playing it. If I'm not mistaken, with Marshala? I don't know how to pronounce his name. I gotta figure that out. But I've seen him. He was Cottonmouth. He was Cottonmouth in Luke Cage, and he was pretty good. So I can only imagine how he's gonna be as Blade. Just saying. An iconic cover, like Dracula trying to snatch somebody off, and Blade getting ready to poke him. How can you go wrong with that? You can't. Next. Fantastic Four number 52. First appearance of Black Panther. Besides Blade, this is it. And you just, oh man, like that movie was so well put together that it just don't even make sense. Like, you're just like, now you're like, where do they go with no Chadwick? Like, where do they go? How do they do it? I'm pretty sure they can. Just like, oh man, you wanted to see this. You just wanted to see it continue. You after the first movie, you was ready for the next 2 or 3 or whatever came down the line. Like Civil War, when they introduced him, you was like, oh man, like he means business. This guy ain't playing. Like, who is this? Can't go wrong with that. Can't. Classic. Last one. This is the last one for it, guys. Ultimate Fallout number 4. First appearance of Miles Morales. Now, he has seen a very uptick in value because of Spider-Verse. And I can't wait till they put him in his own live action film. He's already selling like hotcakes. He's printing. Everybody's going Miles Morales crazy because they want to see something different. People they want to see the different other things other than the same old norm. This right here is something different. And the fact that Spider-Verse was done well, just from an animated series, can only mean that he's gonna get his day in the MCU. He's gonna get put out in there. It's only a matter of time. They have to. He's already won the fans over. Look at that, man. Just 8.5 CBCS graded. How can you beat that? Like, that's just, you gotta love Miles. I do, you know. I don't have no problem with him. It's just, oh man, like, it's just, as a fan of comic books, you enjoy the fact that there's so many quality shows being put out on streaming services, or there's so many quality movies coming out. It's hard not to just fall in love with that. Like, everybody, for the most part, is seeing their favorite character or a few of their favorite characters get introduced to it, you know, the scenes, DC or Marvel, and you're just like, man, like if they had this back in the day, where these comics would be now, or where they're now, would not, oh man. Like streaming service to me changed the game, because now you can just put shows out. You don't even have to put out as many movies anymore. And if they're iconic enough on the show, you know? So this is my first video. You guys like, comment, share, and subscribe. Tell me how you liked it. If you want, you know, pointers, comments, all that's welcome. I'm not, you know, I don't take it personal. Feel how you feel. But I'm just gonna have fun with this. So I'm gonna be streaming live. So get ready for me. Cash Cow out.